All right, guys. So thank you for joining us this morning. As you can all see on your screen, we're very lucky to have an awesome guest with us this morning. His name's Christopher Baker. He's over from the Orlando market. And Jamie and him know each other well. So Jamie's actually after lining him up to talk to us today. So I'm just going to sit back and relax and let Jamie take over. So you guys get started whenever you like.
Awesome. Well, good morning. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Good, Jamie. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Who'd think we'd ever be doing something like this? This is just crazy.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I just want to first thank you for being on. I know everyone is very, very excited to hear from you, and it means a lot to me that you're jumping on this morning. Before we get started, I'm going to read a little bit about Chris, and then I've got some questions for him. But I want you to hear a little bit about his history. Chris Baker has been a residential real estate consultant for over 14 years. He was awarded the Keller Williams Cultural Ambassador for the North Florida region in 2011. And in addition, Christopher was the #1 single agent for sales with Keller Williams Advantage Realty in 2014 and 2015. And he led the Christopher Baker team to the #1 team in sales in the Keller Williams Advantage to Realty in 2016. He has served on the Agent Leadership Council for 7 years, and he currently serves as the Dean for Keller Williams Advantage Group Master Faculty. He is the president of the Ohio State University Alumni Club of Central Florida.
Go Bucks.
Is that right?
Yeah.
KWKC Regional Ambassador for the North Florida region and the Board of Directors for KW Kids, which is amazing. And I got to know Chris when I worked up in Orlando, and I had asked him to jump on this morning and share with all of you guys. He's an amazing man, a leader, business man. But the first question, Chris, that I have for you is just share a little bit about I know that I didn't read everything about you, but a little bit about your history and what really drove you into real estate.
Yeah, so Jamie, thanks for that warm introduction and everything. It's great to be on this call with all you guys, and we're in different times, so it's really interesting, and it really kind of takes me back because after college, I went to the United States Air Force, and one of the interesting points is that I remember I was living in Hawaii during 9/11. Okay, and so when I was living there, it was just the world had changed, right? Overnight. And one of the things that I kind of call upon, there's just lessons learned and stuff like that. And I'll kind of talk through that today and kind of share some of the stories that I have from that. But one of the things that once I got out of the Air Force, I moved to South Carolina because I decided that I wanted to go support the war and serve my country. And from then, I just kind of decided, hey, I felt like we're going to be in a constant stage of deployment. And at the time, I really kind of wanted to kind of settle down and really get roots in a community, as well as start a family. And so I thought, and be a present father and all that kind of stuff too, not just have babies and run around the world fighting off terrorism and all that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of making a decision that I wanted to get out of the Air Force full time and move to Florida. I moved to Florida because it doesn't have any state income tax, and it was the only sunshine state that I had not lived in. And so what was a little crazy about it and a little scary about it is that I moved to Orlando because at the time my girlfriend was moving to Orlando, and I hadn't decided which city I wanted to move in. I said, oh, let me give it a shot. And then about 2 weeks, I signed my lease. And then the next week later, I broke up with my girlfriend. And so I moved to Orlando and didn't know anybody. So, and then I started my real estate career. So and it was good. So, and I'm still here. I'm still standing. So.
You are. You are standing. And we actually went through some questions I'm going to ask you, and I'm excited to hear the answers. But let's start with the first one. It's what are the sources of your business during your career?
Yeah, so I would say, when I first, because I didn't really know anyone in Orlando, so I really started my career with open houses, and I say that pretty much just stuck. That's probably I would say the #1 lead generation source that I really kind of stuck with, because I like being in front of people, and it gives me the opportunity to meet people face to face and get that opportunity to kind of build that business there. And then like I did a lot of internet leads initially too. Like my first couple years was big. There's like this websites that I would buy that, would generate a tremendous amount of leads. And sphere of influence kind of developed over time. And then what really got me, I would say, more in the listings was I started doing for sale by owners and working with them and doing I did it a little differently because I was a little nervous getting on the phones and stuff like that. And so I used to door knock them and offer them free services. So I would do like free open houses for sale by owners. And when the market was that was like in 2006, when the market was kind of shifting, I generated some business from now that I still have lifelong customers from that experience. So.
And how are these sources of business changing throughout the year, and how are they changing with you today in your business, in your current business?
One of the things that, and I also too, Jamie, I talked about a little bit, forgot, I did a lot of farming at the beginning too. I did some farming when I kind of got a little bit more established. What's really changed is that I realized that in order for me to be more profitable, I needed to really cut some expenses. And so, like, for example, I remember at the time I was spending close to about $2,000 a month on internet leads, and I was getting just swamped with them. And it almost, what I would say is that I was getting so many leads that one, I couldn't handle the volume. And so it made me, I started cherry picking the leads. And then I would say, oh, okay, I got a lead today. Well, if I don't feel like lead generating, I can wait till the next day and get another, because there will be a 5 more the next day. And then I just realized that cost of maintaining that, because then I started doing this probably around 2006 and 2007. And then the market kind of shifted, and I realized that I needed to cut expenses, and that model was not sustainable. Because people were going on internet leads, but it was a lot more short sales. So the longevity of the lead was a lot longer, the lead time for that. And so I kind of shifted out of that. And then really over the last few years, I was heavy into farm, and I realized my return wasn't as strong. And so I really started focusing on really my sphere of influence. Always maintaining the open house piece has been probably the 2 levers that I've consistently done. And now injecting some other seminar type stuff. I'm a trainer, so I'm injecting that opportunity inside the spectrum as well. So
okay, awesome. And what's been the best decision that you've made to help you grow your business?
I would say right around I want to say, what's the year, 2009. I felt like I was in Bold, and I was in Bold with Rich Carpentier, and I finally decided to get into MAPS coaching. I was just plateaued. I was, and I just felt like I could do a little bit more. And so I decided in 2009 to hire a MAPS coach. And I would tell you, Jamie, it changed my world. Okay. And at the time, I was always my mindset was, as soon as I get there, I'm going to get into MAPS coaching. That was my mindset. As soon as I get there, I'm going to get into MAPS coaching, because then I think I need it. I feel like I can do everything I need at this level, but as soon as I get there, I'm going to get into MAPS coaching. Well, that there never happened. Okay. Year after year after year, I was close, but I just couldn't get over the hump. And then I got into MAPS coaching, and I remember having a conversation with my wife at the time, and we were kind of talking about we were looking to buy a new home, okay, and or a home, because I was renting at the time, and we went into a new construction place, and I remember my wife was like, man, I love this house. This is amazing. I think this is beautiful and all this kind of stuff. And I literally was like, you're in la la land. We're never going to be able to afford this house. We're not going to be able to do anything like this. We need to find a resale that's $100,000 cheaper, because that's where the level that we're at, right? I got into MAPS coaching. I made, like, my first year, made $120,000 more. And then all of a sudden, it wasn't that house I was looking at. It was a much different kind of house, because it was just much more affordable. And I realized that my potential could be, my earnings could be greater. You know, I was having like $80,000 GCI months and stuff like that. And I had multiple, and I never had that before, you know? And so I think that just the mindset of going into coaching and having someone keep me accountable and really driving me. And since I've been in coaching, like my numbers of, you know, they've been great. And I didn't say great, but they've been much better, and they've been very consistent, because you know, they just had me going into really looking at things that they had me focus more on about being a business owner versus just being a realtor. So
Yeah, it's so huge. So huge. We see a lot of realtors that haven't quite taken that yet. And I appreciate you saying that, because, you know, I know that I've shared with people, agents all over, that, you know, we're a summation of the voices that we listen to and the people that speak into our lives. So I appreciate you saying that. I believe in that 100%. What's the biggest challenge that you've ever had to overcome in real estate? Even including now, what are you finding yourself overcoming?
You know, like I would say, you know, like, one of the things that I think during that period of time too, when I started to kind of grow, you know, when I talked about being a business owner, right? One of the hardest, I would say probably the most devastating day, right, is that I wasn't structured right. And I was kind of like, I would say lazy in a sense of business sense, and doing some things. And, you know, I wasn't making enough money at the beginning to like, to support my lifestyle, let's say. All right. And I wasn't conscious of what I was kind of doing. And so I remember one day, like when I was in that period of time where I'm getting like coming back out of the surge. So like I had spent, my son passed away. I'm sorry. My son's mother passed away when he was 6 years old. That was about 6 years ago. And so during that period of time, I took a lot of time off. I took about 2 years off where I was just, I would say, letting the business kind of come to me. And, you know, I was still selling real estate, but I wasn't prospecting. I wasn't doing anything. I was just kind of maintaining. Right. And then coming out of that, when I got custody of my son full time, I wasn't worried about, you know, his grandparents kind of taking him away from me and doing all this kind of stuff. I started to get back into the business. That's when I had that success where I was like number one agent, number one team, all that kind of stuff. I started having that success. And so I was getting my bank account right. Well, prior to that, I had not paid taxes. Okay. All right. And so I had accumulated a lot of taxes, but my income, I was like, I can't pay this. Like, I remember getting this tax bill for $70,000 because I sold a property. And I was like, I can't afford this. Like, I can't do anything with this. So I kind of put my head in the sand and didn't do anything. And then over the summer, I had about $50,000 in my bank account. I woke up and it was all zeros. And I wanted to instantly, like, I was like, ah, what is going on? I was like scared and like, I couldn't believe it. And like, I was just like nervous and all that kind of stuff. But luckily I had put some things in motion where I had just like 3-4 months later, I knew this was possible, but I didn't think it was like coming that soon. And I had talked to an accountant and all that kind of stuff and got everything kind of lined up. And luckily she was able to come, but it was a wake up call. That you are a business and IRS does come after you and they'll take all your money out of your accounts and stuff like that. And that was like a very sobering moment. So I would say that was probably the bottom of like, you know, having a lot of success and then just having it all wiped out within a day. So.
Wow. It's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. Chris, I didn't know that part of your story.
I know.
Well, and so many agents I know, a lot of times I think, on the outside we're, can be acting one way, on the inside feeling a different. I just appreciate your transparency, because I know you're helping so many people, because I think as a whole, there are a lot of realtors and business people who maybe aren't quite on top of the things that they need to be on top of. Would you agree?
Yes, definitely, so, and I talk to a lot of people now, like, and I just say, don't be me, like it happens, and like, it happens and it happened at the worst time too, because I was like getting that momentum, and I was getting a lot of momentum, but it also taught me something that, probably the biggest thing that I got from that is that, this is what I would take from anything. And this reminds me of the previous shift to now, right?
Yeah.
Is that what I love about our business and our environment is that we can control our destiny. We control it. Like, there's people that I talk to, this is no different from when the market was crashing, when we were doing a lot of short sales. I would go into families and people were just losing hope, right? Because they have invested their lives in a job and all this kind of stuff, and they have no control. Someday some guy comes over and says, your income's gone, right? And they go freak out. What do I do? Don't have any control over it. What I love about our business, just like then, just as it like now, we have control, okay? There's things that we can do to control our lives day in and day out. And that is empowering to me, and that is relief for me, and that's hope for me, and that kind of drives me to know that, hey, at least if it's to be, it's up to me, And so like I love that about our business, and I love, like, when times are tough, I love the capability to say, hey, do I just need to make more phone calls? Do I need to just go talk to some more people? Because people are always buying and selling homes. You just got to get your unfair share.
Yeah, it's so good. And it's a controllable, factor. I mean, we have a choice every day, to control our mindset and what we put in our mind and the choices that we make. So I know we just talked about your lowest point and overcoming it. Do you want to add anything of how you overcame it? Is it just that you just increased your activity? Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, like I think it's, like when I'm a, I can say I have a procrastination gene. Okay. So like, I know some people out there might share that gene and stuff like that. And what happens for me is, like, when I'm at my lowest is when that's when
Uh-oh. Did he just get cut off? Karen, can you hear me?
Yeah, he's there he is. He's back. He must have dropped out for a second.
Okay.
Hello, Chris. We lost you for a second.
Where'd he go?
I just saw him pop back in.
Okay.
There he is. Hey, we lost you for a second, bud. All right, let's get him. If you can just unmute yourself again, Chris, you're good to go. I think you joined muted automatically now.
Is he unmuted?
Okay, I'm good.
There we go. Okay.
Sorry about that. I guess I got kicked out. I don't know.
That's weird.
That's all right. We missed what you were saying. Can you kind of rewind a little bit on that? Sorry.
So being a procrastinator, like I just perform better when my back's against the wall. And so I would say probably the most important piece that, I just increase my activities, and I'm just a little bit more purposeful. And I just have a different mindset about, like, I can't fail. I can't fail.
Is he gone again?
It looks like it. I'm not sure what's happening.
Mm.
Everybody else is still in here. Maybe his internet's at home. There he is again. Hold on.
All right. I don't know why I'm getting kicked out, but I'm back.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe I'll stop moving my hands. I'll just stay still.
Okay.
I'd be doing something different. So, yeah, so I just increase activities. I think is probably the biggest piece. And then I just reach out to a lot more people and, I do all the stuff you're supposed to be doing when you're not, and so I think that kind of lends to the success. And then just the mindset of, I was like, I just can't fail. Okay.
Awesome. And hold on one second. So as far as the challenges that you've had before, how would you say that they've prepared you for right now, today, for the current situation?
Yeah, I think, this kind of goes back to just experience, right? And so like once you've gone over.
He's gone again.
Yeah, there must be an issue with his internet. I'm not sure what's going on because nobody else is dropping out. It's just him.
So strange.
We could have him just dial into the phone number and he just wouldn't be on screen if we need to.
So I would say once you've kind of gone through the experience before, I think it just sets you up for one, you have the confidence that it's not like the end of the world. Just like, when I experienced 9/11 during, when I lived in Hawaii, it was very similar. Like, it was similar in the sense of what I'm seeing now is that, hey, tourism slowed down. There's all of a sudden people were busy and overnight everything got slow, and just the mindset behind, okay, we can get out of this. Obviously I was in the military before, so like it was just like a more pride and a warfighter kind of mentality. And then going through the shift with the last downturn of the economic market, it's just really the mindset of, okay, one of the things I think is really important is that sometimes people wait too long to make the changes, right? And so I remember at that last time, it took me a long time because I was listening to the wrong people talking about this market's terrible. I'm never going to be able to sell a house. This is not going to be able. And when I got those voices out of my head and actually started listening to the people that are actually killing it in the market and they just changed their business. And then when I embraced doing short sales and all that kind of stuff, my life changed. And so now I don't need to, go through that decision making or uncertainty mindset. I just attack it. And so you see a change coming, you just adjust and make the changes that you need in order to thrive in the market. Because if you're home and you're not going out on appointments and you think you can't go out on appointments, there's other real estate agents, including myself, that are going to go out on those appointments. And they're going to make those calls and they're going to talk to those people and they're going to convince them that this market, there's a good time to buy and sell. So if you wait, you're losing the opportunities that are out there, and all the other agents are going to gain market share. And so that's, I would say, probably the biggest thing that I take from the experience is that don't wait, just make the changes. And if you want to thrive in this market, just accept it now and move on.
Yeah, that's good. That's really, really good. Okay, so I'm down to the last 3 questions, and then I think we may open it up. But these are really great ones. And it's, what's your proudest moment with Keller Williams?
Jamie, so like, I like selling real estate, okay? But I love helping people, okay? Like it is my thing. And like, and I remember when I first joined Keller Williams, I joined in 2009. And I joined the ALC like probably the next year. I was on the ALC and it was struggling because that was like when the market was, bottom, and I was the red day. I was the first red day chair. And we did, I would say, a small project the one day because I didn't know what I was getting myself into, and we did it. It was cool. And then the next year we just blew it out. Like we did like a 4-day red day project where we renovated a children's home in our area and had it like like ABC, the Extreme Makeover, where we sent them for the weekend to like go to SeaWorld and Disney and have a good time, and Universal Studios. And we got about like 300 and some volunteers from the community as well as our market center. And we renovated a children's home in 4 days. And so we were working day and night doing that. And to see the kids' smiles on their face when they came back, I'm getting chills.
Oh, he got cut off.
He'll probably pop back in again. I'm not sure what's going on with his connection.
He's totally worth it, so we're okay here as a captive audience, right?
Right? I know. He's amazing. Hey.
You just keep it moving, Jamie. You keep it moving.
You said that you were just getting chills and then you got cut off. We have to hear what you were saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I got chills, like, like in a sense, seeing the smiles on the kid's face that they knew someone in the community cared for them, and they did enough to make their world different. It was amazing. And the people that were involved in the project and the bonds that were created from that event are lifelong bonds. I have bonds from that experience that just kind of set it apart. And so I would say that's probably one of my proudest moments, just that, we were able to change the lives of 14 kids that, people said that they didn't care. Their parents put them in a place where they didn't want to give them. But
Wonder what would cause that. Is that an internet connection, Kieran?
It's got to be something on his end. Yeah, not sure. Why don't you finish up with one last question, and maybe we can do a little bomb video or something with him to send out to the agents as well.
Okay.
This is going to keep on happening.
I'm back.
Okay.
Again.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, that was it. So I'm done with that question.
Awesome. All right. So what brings your passion or drives you personally, and what opportunities do you see coming up with the KWKC program?
Yeah, so obviously I'm heavily involved in KWKC, and if you folks don't know about it, it's a program that we have in Keller Williams that allows us to change the world, and I would say make it easy to understand the program. It's basically to Kellerize the world, okay, with young people. And so with our mindset about unlimiting beliefs and how to develop powerful habits that help you reach your goals at a high level and then allow you to build wealth. And so just the mindset behind that is probably my passion now, and I would say what was great about it is that, Jamie, like my evolution of it was like, people always talk about what's your big why, right? What's your big why? What are you doing? And for so long, I just didn't know what my why was, and I didn't know what my passion was until I went through QL. I went through my QL experience and went through my journey, and I took QL, and I developed my mission statement. I developed my MVB BP, and so during that piece, allowed me to get clarity on my life and the decisions that I make and how I want to kind of impact the world and how I want to do it and what vehicle it is. And this is the vehicle. And so I'm very passionate about helping young people kind of figure out, instead of like wait until your 40s to figure it out, I want them to learn earlier because they can have a much more abundant life. And it's really cool to see the changes in young people when that light bulb goes off. I mean, there's no better feeling, and see them kind of thrive and hit their goals and hit the things that they want to do. And they do it much faster because, like, I always used to say, I wish I had the mindset because I had the tenacity when I was that young. and I like no one could tell me anything. My mom used to be like, "Boy, you need to slow your roll." Like, I mean, my mom used to tell me this: "You need to slow your roll," because I was just like, "I want to take on the world. I want to take."
Mm.
Joanne said maybe the Orlando Zoom circuits are overloaded.
Yeah, very possibly.
I mean, like I said earlier, he can just dial in using the phone number and not have to go through the web. That might help, but I mean, we're right at the end, so.
Yeah, we're right at the end. I'm texting him.
You're good. I'm here.
Oh.
I got this down. I can do this in like 2 seconds now. So I don't know what is going on.
Oh my gosh.
So, but I just feel like, you know, we have that capability to be that spark, and
Absolutely.
and it gives us the opportunity to kind of build opportunity inside our database, because this is the time now. Like, you know, there's a lot of young people that are home and they have a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of uncertainty in general, right? And the mindset the mindset helps people get through these kind of situations, and they got the time to kind of think about and analyze what's important to them. I would say that's probably a great thing about this, has people slowing down a little bit and really like figuring out, okay, what's important? Am I structured right? Am I set up right to handle any situation that comes in front of me? And so I think some of our KW mindset and culture and all that kind of stuff, you know, world needs a little bit of it. So like, I just figure like if we can Kellerize the country, you know, things will just be a little bit better.
So. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Kieran, do you have any questions before we close?
I think you guys did a great job. Okay. Maybe one quick question, Chris. What you talked a lot earlier in the call about, you know, having an eye on your expenses earlier in your career. And then of course, right now with everything we're going through, that's super important. So I know every real estate business and every team is different, but what are the top, you know, 2 or 3 things that you should be focusing on putting your money into in your real estate business right now, in your opinion?
You know, I'm of the mindset that, you know, and this is what I did over the last couple of years. And so like, I'm kind of just doubling down on it, but like just investing in my sphere of influence, you know, the people that are around me that have worked with me. I just double down. I'm investing a lot more time with them, and I'm investing a lot more money in that piece, because I just think it drives more opportunity, and I get better returns from that because I don't have to spend.
All right. Do you want to just, when he comes back in, just
thank him and I'll wrap him up.
Yeah. We're already a little over time anyway. And then maybe we'll just do a bomb video for you guys with him and get that sent out with a few closing thoughts or something.
You think he knows he's off?
Yeah, he's rejoining now.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So just investing in the sphere of influence, I think, is like the biggest piece where I've just been doubling down on that. And so I'm spending a little bit more money, like right now, like sending out mailers and getting people mail, and just making those personal touches that I wasn't doing before in that element, because I think people enjoying getting maybe some, you know, some message of hope and a message of, hey, I'm thinking about you and stuff like that, and just following up with phone calls. And, you know, I would say I'm just doubling down on that.
Yeah, okay, I love that.
And prizes and all that kind of stuff. Like, you know, like I'm doing happy hours. This week I'm doing lunches and happy hours via Zoom with my customers, and just getting a little bit more personal interaction, because I know that, everybody's getting a little stir crazy being in the house so long. And so like, if we can have as many personal touches, I think it's important. So.
Yeah. So good. Well, I know we're going to wrap up. Is there any closing remarks you want to say to all the agents that are listening? Thank you so much for your time. I know one of the reasons that I connected with you in the beginning, and I wanted the agents listening to know your heart, because to me, what stands out about you is your heart and your passion for people. So I'm glad that you really spoke on that, because I think that when we keep our priorities in that order, that everything else works out. But is there anything that you want to close with everybody?
Yeah, no, I would just say, like, in general, like, this is a good opportunity to take market share. Okay. And, and I know a lot of people say that, and it's just really loving on your database. And I really kind of take it to heart, and you just gotta get comfortable being uncomfortable, and I know there's a like cliche kind of statements, but it's true. And the faster that you can get uncomfortable being uncomfortable in the situation and not allowing a fear of coronavirus to take over you, and just doing the precautions. Like, I'm going out now, I'm going out with masks, like when I just came back from a cruise, and then all of a sudden everything was different. Right. And so I ordered like gloves, I ordered masks, and there's lead times for all this stuff. So like, you just got to do it now. Like, you can't wait. You do it now and get prepared and make your customers feel safe too, because that's another part of it. If you're doing the strategies to make you feel safe and you're confident, and then you're giving them masks, you're giving them gloves, you're doing the stuff that, as a professional, if you want to do business with me, these are the things that we need to do in order to be safe. It'll appease their mind too. Right. And then as long as we're both doing the activities that we need to do, we can still go about our normal day in, day stuff, but we just got to take different precautions. And so I think you just take the opportunity, because there's a lot of people that are so scared that they won't do anything. All right. And they'll be out of the business. I mean, that's going to happen. I'm going to tell you, it's going to happen, because they can't maintain 3 months, because we don't know if it's going to be 2 months. We don't know if it's going to be 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. We don't know. But if they don't change, they'll be out of the business. Yeah. All right. And the job market is not great coming back on, because everybody else is coming on. So like, this is the best job market. So just go out and work for yourself, and do the things that you need to do in order to be successful. And I think that if you have that mindset, you'll look at the end of the coronavirus and be cheering and be like, thank God for Corona. I like this time.
That's awesome. Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much. Kieran, do you want to close or say anything before we go? I appreciate you.
No, thank you so much, Chris. That was great. We will get the video uploaded later today, and feel free to share that or check out yourself. And tomorrow we've got Joanne's Maps coach on the call, Roxanne. So I know Roxanne's going to bring us a lot of value tomorrow, and Joanne's going to help us out with chatting with her.
Can I just say she's in Gary's top 100, so she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, she's one of the top agents, top coaches in the company, and she's out in the Colorado area, and she's going to bring us a lot of great information tomorrow as well. So please join us tomorrow, and we will see you all then. Thanks again, Chris.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Chris.
Bye.